Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Beacons of Balance. And this is my beautiful co-host, Arlene, who she's the one that brought all this together. And today, let me tell you, what would you do if you could tap into the psyche of Einstein on the other side? Oh my gosh, stay tuned. Just don't even go for a break during this. Just stay till the very end because it's going to blow your mind. We have with us a very special guest. She's a dear friend of mine, and I can't believe it's been 30 years. So this is a reunion of sorts. We want to welcome Barbara Witt. Welcome, Barbara. We are,
Oh,
oh my
hi,
gosh.
gals.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having me, and hi, everybody. This is, we
Oh,
met. We met in a chat room.
oh my God, did we?
We met in the AOL tarot
Ah,
card chat room in
Ser-
1993 or 4.
what?
That's where we met Mary McPherson. Mary is my
Oh my
name.
God, Mary.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
And we were
That
all 15. We were all 15.
we were all 15 years old.
I know.
But
So,
doesn't it seem like yesterday?
because,
And I still stay in touch with a lot of those people, believe it or not.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So, wow, Barbara Witt.
Lots
You know,
happened.
I don't even know where to start because when I saw you, you were just coming out with Diary of a Psychic Sorority, Talking with the Angels. That was 96, 97, I want to say. And since then, I mean, we just went our separate ways because that's what light workers do. We take our own separate paths. Arlene took hers, I took mine, you took yours, all to get information and wisdom to bring back for humanity. That's the cool part of this. And now here we are, the grand reunion. So, wow, you're international peace activist, award-winning author. What do you write about 6 books already? I mean, you're a psychic.
Yes, I have 6 of my own in metaphysics, but I think
Wow.
I have 11 books. I
11
have other
books.
I have other topics.
Wow. And then composer, performer. I know you were traveling all over the world at one point. I saw you when you were mentioning you were going off to Paris to perform. But you've been in Romania. You've been all over, girl.
I
And
know.
there, and now your baby. This is what you love to talk about is this conflict revolution. So, it I want to get into this because this is really fascinating. And wow.
So
Arlene,
actually, I wanted to begin with a little different question. What catapulted you into the path? Because I know your background, you were really into music and a vocalist, a singer, and I watched things, I saw that, which is very interesting, very dynamic, into, say, the angelic realm and into also, channeling Einstein. I mean, what happened? Did you wake up one day and just go,
Well, kind of when it came to music, because I did start writing music very, very young. And then at 17, I became a professional musician and had a very single-minded, passionate focus. And plus, I wrote prolifically. I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And I just wrote because I came from a traumatized background and dissociation, that kind of state. And I just had to get this out of me. But looking back now at my ripe old age of 70, I see that stuff, I'm okay. I usually say 80, and then people are like, oh, you look great for 80. It's like, yeah, okay. But that process of writing and then performing, because I was on the road for 20 years, was really instrumental in preparing me for what I'm doing today.
yes?
But I thought I wanted to be a rock star, and you've heard my music. I mean,
all right.
technically, I would be a shoo-in to be, especially from that age, the 70s. It was singer-songwriter, and
Yeah.
I had all these songs, but I just never quite made it. And at the same time, I was learning that I could read tarot cards. I had been going to see a psychic. My friend's mom was. So I was exposed. I love Seth, Jane Robert. So when I started Automatic Write in 1987, it was very I mean, I knew what it was, but the messages, I had absolutely no idea what they were setting me up for. And I thought, well, wow, I can do readings like my mentor did. And I started doing them. And then several years later, 93, I thought, I want to do groups. I want to do what would these voices that are coming out of me say? And I couldn't find anybody. But then there was this new group of women who came in, and 2 of them were Kim and Teresa. and they just couldn't get enough. So at the same time, I realized they were for me. They realized I was for them. And we had our first group in December 93. And that was the beginning of the psychic sorority, the three of us. And Diaries, which you're right, published in 97.
There was
And
97. Okay.
that was the 3-month period of where we're brought together by these angels. And as far as we knew, when we published that book, they were angels. There was no Einstein. There was nothing. And even before that, before they asked, "Who are you?" and the answer was angels, I was just an antenna. There wasn't anybody. I was just picking up information, and I happened to be articulate, which made sense to me because I was a singer and I sang these original.
Right.
So, yeah, that period was that 3 months where they told us, these angels, they said, "We have this process. We need you to help us. And it's world peace, one person at a time, starting with you. And if you do this, the byproduct, we think, will be world peace. But you have to focus here. It's the byproduct. You don't go out there to do it, but it's all about." And like I say, I look back today, now that I know what I know and I'm going where I'm going. What a brilliant plan that I never did become a rock star. And yet I had all that capacity to do this very, very deep psychic work with Einstein
that was the stepping stone to
Exactly.
propel you into this. As so many, if you listen to a lot of people, that happens that way. You think you're going on one trajectory, and all of a sudden it changes. But there's a reason. There's a reason for it all. The good, bad, and ugly, whatever you go through, there's a purpose and a reason for it.
Exactly.
And I got when you were speaking, and I got the chill. We used to call it the wave.
Yeah.
People call it God bumps, all different things. But from when you were talking about one person at a time, I think that's so important for people to hear, because I think there is a phrase that Christ said or whatever. If you touch one soul in this lifetime, it is magnificent. Just one.
Exactly.
So if we could, I'm getting chills all over. I'm going to cry. But anyways, thank you.
And that rock star, just being on stage, this was your practice, to be in front of thousands or millions of people around the world. So you had to first be at ease in front of people and performing.
It's funny how they use us and they push us out there, because I know because of my story and everything, I was in a book, 50 Celebrate 50, about women. And in any event, it was just after 9/11. And I didn't think the book was going to come out, right? And so I got invited to New York to be on stage. Susan Sarandon was there. We were told just to go up, hey, thank you, and walk off the stage. And the first person goes up and she goes, Susan Sarandon moves away from the podium. She goes, "Okay, say something." And the woman was like, prepared. And I'm in this audience. I'm shaking. I go, "I'm not going up there. I'm not going up there. I'm not going up there. I'm not going." I had nothing prepared. And I went up and my voice was like, and I said to my family, I said, "Oh my God, I sound like a village idiot." And I said, did you hear me? They said, "No, you sounded fine." I go, "Are you serious?" But I think it was preparation. It was supposed to be, there were like 500-800 people there or something. And I was like, oh my God. Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. But I'm saying, for example, I just heard a thing from Alanis Morissette about what it was like to be in the industry at such a young age. It was horrible. It was a constant sexual abuse with all of the art, and all of this is coming out now, into being revealed, like you said, or it's coming out, it's being revealed. Well, I feel like I was saved by God for not going into that, because I surely would have been swept up with it.
And the drugs. Look at the drugs that were so prevalent.
And I was. Those were my sex, drugs, and rock and roll days. And
that was the period of what we grew up in, and it across, like Joanne was talking about it, in her workplace, in her environment, and mine, in my workplace also. I mean, it was just the guys grab you, what and you just went, I would slap them, like, you didn't do anything more than that,
Well, I had an interesting experience when I was young. At probably the peak of my young career, I was probably 5, 6, 7 years into it, and I was winning awards and playing concerts around the Midwest. And my manager, who was very much about always having the lines of Coke right before whatever, said to me, "Stevie Nicks is looking for a protege to produce." And I said, "Stevie Nicks is a And that I can't, and my manager fired me.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even say no.
Right. That's the way it was.
Yeah. So
Well,
I was saved for
Thank
this
God we have our
anyway.
voices. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to get into this because we don't
Yeah.
have a lot of time with this.
Oh gosh, that's right.
I know. It's like, okay, now we're down to 5 minutes.
No.
So let's get into the meat and potatoes. I want to hear all about this. Tell me what some of the most important things that you've learned from channeling Albert Einstein.
That he has brought forth through my work with him a unified field theory with what he calls the maps of human consciousness and a scientific quantifiable definition of compassion, and we say a capital C, compassion, as the fifth fundamental force of the universe. It's the creative intelligence that uses the other four fundamental forces to impel the creation of the physical world one step at a time. And through the years, and this has been a lifetime of delivering this information at segments and to help my mental health, because it's a lot to bear to bring this out and have it make sense and have it fit. Like as I go through life to go, oh my gosh, this really is applicable, everything he said. And it's just been a brilliant, and maybe just a really unique experience. I don't think that I could say, become a channel and this will happen to you. It could. I didn't plan on it. I just wanted to be a rock star. So, and I stumbled in, oh, angels? Well, okay. And then it was the party of 12 famous people in afterlife who were working for world peace, and they wanted me to deliver their messages, and he happened to be part of them.
Wow.
And that took me several years of adapting to. Because when I came to see you in, what was it, 96?
96, yeah.
And we were channeling angels. And then in 98, I came upon the party, much because of Diaries of a Psychic Sorority got published. And I got a little bit of, and I had an agent, and I was requested to do an interview with Princess Di from Beyond the Grave on the 1-year anniversary of her death by a paranormal tabloid in the UK. And it was like, what?
Wow.
And yeah, oh, yes, and it came through. Now they didn't want it, but it led to then my next book, which was Party of 12: The Afterlife Interviews. There was this group, and they were angels too. I think there definitely were angelic present.
They were all mixed in.
But I don't think they could have just come out. And they've said that so much of this through the years that we couldn't have just, hey, it's Einstein and Freud and Hitler, and I don't think they could have done that and had me be able to comprehend and deliver. So it had to be unfolded and unwrapped. But everything that we've documented with this is so consistent. Like it's never wavered, even in its simplest form. I can go back to diaries and read the first ones where we had no idea they were telling us the secrets of the universe. They were just wanting us to make peace. And I can read all the quantum physics that were encoded in those first channelings that we had no idea about, now that I know. So I think that, and the fact that now here we are, like 96, who cared about world peace? I mean, it was the Clinton years. We were, pretty economically well, and the world wasn't blowing itself up. But
Party time.
Today, people need to know this. They need to know what and a conflict revolution has become this it's simple. It's hard to do. It's simple to understand. It makes perfect sense. But you have to be willing to do it to resolve the conflicts here first, based on what you're seeing outside yourself, the metaphor.
Yeah, that's what's the question I had for you. So is every illness or conflict that we're having with others connected to our internal conflict within us? So
Yes.
Or it comes to us, it's like a mirror. In other words, that phrase, you're a mirror.
Yeah, we create it to mirror for us. You know how you can walk in a room and somebody can be triggered. You're two of you, and one of you is totally triggered by a person, and the other one is just like, what are you talking about? We pulled that to us to show us something that's already there, so we can do it here. And when we do it here, it changes out there.
Yeah.
Either
exactly.
you see the person different, the person rises to the occasion, or the person disappears and something else gets
Right.
manifest. So
I
it's
mean,
really,
even our greatest masters, Buddha and Confucius, they all said world peace has to start within. And then when you work on yourself, you become the role model for your family, your inner circle. And then when that family is in peace, it's a reflection onto your neighborhood. It goes out and out and out. So
it's like that beautiful peace angel you have. That's probably my favorite. That we all three of us, the psychic sorority, we all have a print of when there's peace in the heart that goes to
exactly.
yeah, beautiful. And that's it. That
And
is
at the
it.
time, I never knew who wrote that. I was just guided to a mall my angels showed me to go to a certain place to find the calligrapher for that. It wasn't until later that my son was studying and said, Mom, you're not going to believe who wrote that. It was Confucius. But getting back to all this conflict and how it all starts with us, given that, Barbara, how can humanity participate to end the age of war?
I think that first of all, you have to be willing. This is a thought experiment. Okay. Just like Einstein when
Right.
he was alive. And he didn't just do math about the light. He
Mhm.
asked you to ride a wave and imagine what it felt like. So
Right.
what we do is we teach you this map. We show you this very simple map of it. Everybody has the same structure of human consciousness, these same 3 human dimensions. They're like spiritual organs: intuition, intellect, and emotion. And to your point, Arlene, is that he says that all conflicts, whether it's internal or external manifestation, is between what the intuition is impelling us to do, which is always compassion, the next most advantageous step for the good of the whole. And what the ego, where free will actually operates, like if we're going to turn left, it's here that all the things go out to your arm to pull you don't do that. It happens here. And the ego has been given the power to say no to turn left. No, I can't do that. I have got too many things to do. I'm going to turn right and turn right. He says that is the root of everything, all conflict. And how it manifests, there's a mystery to that. My manifestations of conflict, the most prominent for me have probably been mental health issues, and relationship issues. Some people have other ways they show up more bodily, so there's all kinds of ways. But if you start to think about that so rudimentally, it kind of makes things simpler in a way.
Right. I always tell my clients, don't come up here and think, what do I think about this? How do I feel? You get into the heart space. So it's pretty cool what you're doing. And this is all stuff that we've been teaching, right, Arlene? You taught this at your angel shop. You had that safe space for people to open up about this.
Yeah, it was just to come in love,
Exactly.
to be in a place of, and you know what? I didn't have to explain it to people. I mean, I was guided to do that shop. I mean,
Right.
they led me there, and I just went.
Right.
I just, my husband at the time was losing his job, and he said to me, he goes, "You can't do this now. Take the place." Yeah, I just rented the space. I go, and I
Right.
looked at him. I don't know where. And I said, "Oh, really?" I go, "Guess what? I'm doing it. I don't care." I said, "I don't care if we have to get rid of the house, live in an apartment. I don't know what, because normally that wouldn't have been my MO. I wouldn't have said that, but I did. I just stood firm and I did it. And people just walked in there. And you know what? What you said, Joanne, is so important and it's true. It's feeling. It's the feeling.
How do I feel about this?
I remember one day this guy came in, young guy, like from the Bronx with the gold chains, and I go, "Could I help?" He goes, "I'm looking for a baby gift, He was he was like a hip hopper with the tattoo, all tatted, and I'm like, "Woo!"
Okay.
I go, so I brought him over. I said, "Well, this is baby section." I showed him, and I said, "But you just stay here and see what you're attracted and drawn to. It'll talk, me. It'll talk to you." And you probably thought, and I'm behind the counter, Of course, I had Enya playing. I used to play all the ethereal.
Right.
He's crouched down looking. All of a sudden, he gets up. He goes, he goes, "It feels really good in here." Now, out of that, I just stood there and went, "Yeah." So it is the feeling. And they say even I know when I started, because I was raised, I'm a recovered Catholic, but we recited the prayers over and over. You just kind of by rote said everything over and over. But when I really tuned into my spiritual life, it was feeling it. It was talking to God, talking to
Exactly.
from the heart, not from ba 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 ba.
Well, and think
Right.
about it that we're not taught how to feel.
Right.
We're told there's this little section, and that if you let the rest of it in, you're gonna make actions that you're gonna regret, right? That's why we don't
Right.
want to feel angry, because then I'm gonna punch somebody or whatever. Project and blame. And so that's what I love about conflict resolution. It's about not like the angelic stuff when they said you can call us angels. And I thought, what? Because it was all about kind of this light and airy fairy stuff. This is about getting into the conflict and finding the slight perceptive change, because it's always just a slight perception change that has a impact. So, for example, your intuition says rest, and you say, I can't rest, I have to do all these things, and you go do all those things. Now, is it going to be conflicts with your spouse? Is it going to be you beating yourself up because you're not getting enough done and blah, blah, blah? But if it says rest and you just go, okay, it's not brain surgery really, but to do it, it's the mastery of self, and it's self-love, I think.
Right. But I'll tell you what, when you tell people that whatever you're bringing to yourself constantly, like the same drunken spouse every marriage, say, oh, you're full of it. They can't understand that they came to Earth School, which is a tough gig, to learn certain virtues. And you're like actors and actresses here, and you choose a lot of these people to work out these virtues. And it's an interesting place to be.
Especially these
So,
times, I think.
oh my God.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
miss it for the world, though.
But I
Yeah,
think
we're here. Yeah.
I think
Come on,
for
Arlene.
generationally, we grew up in the period, like you said, it's about feelings, but we did grow
Yeah.
up generationally where it was just that culture back then, right? We were
Yeah.
we stuffed them.
Don't
Right.
question
Showed.
anybody.
I don't care what kind of
Right.
family you grew up in, because everybody has dysfunction, but
Right.
you stuffed it, and
You
nobody.
stuffed it.
You put everything under the carpet, and
Right.
you projected this. Everything's wonderful,
Or
Right.
else you just let them out all over the place no matter what. So I
Yeah.
think there's the two extreme, because I was the other way where, and I think each has their
Mhm.
horribleness and their I learned how to at least be articulate, but gosh,
Yeah.
at what expense? And you sacrificed your own emotion
Right.
in stuff that in the body. So either way, it's all conflict, right?
So, Barbara, let's talk about the young kids coming in now. These grandbabies coming in, they're like pure love right now. And I feel like I'm talking to a 30-year-old, when I talk to a 4-year-old.
I
It's
know,
like,
isn't it amazing?
oh my gosh, I can't imagine what these kids are going to be doing. I think they get it. So does Einstein, like, what was the most of all the information he's channeled to you? What's that golden nugget, that one golden nugget that really stuck with you, like more than anything else? Like you had the aha moment.
I think it was when he defined compassion as the fundamental force. And up until that time, I'd been going through angels.
Right.
Angels who had a process that they needed tested. And so there were 3 of us.
Right.
We actually tested it on our conflicts. So I had all this research.
Yeah.
And then he revealed like the secrets of the universe of how things are created. When he dropped that, it was this incredible moment of singularity, of the union of science and spirit. And that was another one of those changing points. Sort of when I met the girls, I knew I wasn't probably going to be a rock star, but this was another one where now, and that was, I'm going to say it was 2005. I think I channeled all those ones. And now today, 20 years later, I'm excited. I just got accepted, and I have a presentation at the Science of Consciousness Conference this summer in Barcelona.
What?
Put on by the University of Tucson, Arizona, the astrophysicists and the Nissan Harriman and Deepak Chopra and I went there last spring. I know. So
Congratulations.
Fabulous. Congrats on that one.
but
That's
I'm,
big.
back to what is the most profound thing.
Yeah.
I think that to be able to bring this message, which I've never heard any of them say, compassion is, and then quantify it scientifically. It's just such an honor. It's like, and it's a lifetime honor that makes all of the rest of my life make sense.
Oh, well, you've worked so hard, and you've traveled all over the world speaking to many, many groups. I know you even channeled for, I didn't know you knew Jeff Hoppe.
Yes, he's the one
Oh my
that
gosh.
invited me to the Quantum Leap, where I channeled
Wow.
Einstein worldwide for the first time. And that was predicted in the 90s when the angels
Yeah.
said that. So yeah, wonderful circle.
We go way back to 90s. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Before, that was during the Cryon days.
Right? Cryon.
Cryon. Oh my God.
Well, it's a time now where science is everybody was like, it's science, it has to be science, but it's kind of joined with spirituality. So they're merging together, and a lot of these big knowns are acknowledging that now, are seeing that, which is great.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're right.
It's really
Compassion is
exciting.
Compassion really is key. Arlene and I have been interviewing many NDEers, and the one thing they learn when they go to the other side is forgiveness of anyone who's ever hurt you. Especially, we forget to forgive ourselves, forgive your parents, forgive anyone who's ever hurt you. And until you could do that, it's hard to heal. You can't move forward. Wow. Pretty cool stuff.
And
Yeah.
back to the basics of, what Einstein taught me with all of that.
Mhm.
Still, conflict resolution is learning self-love. It's learning how
Self-love.
to love ourselves, to treat ourselves well, to listen to our intuition, to breathe all of our feelings, to manage our thoughts and get into alignment with the flow of compassion. That's really who we are at our roots. So yeah, exciting times, I think.
Can you give for our audience and our listeners just an overview, a quick synopsis of what what you named conflict revolution, what exactly it is and how is it used and what are the quick steps?
The quick steps. Yeah, we're the elevator conflict revolution.
Yeah,
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so every morning, right? Get up, you got to set that intention. You have to be willing to do this thought experiment. So 3 human dimensions: emotion, solar plexus; intuition, heart; intellect, here. Witness, who can watch all that. So you go out in the day and you set your intention that you're going to have your witness as much as you can in the course of a day. You're going to start to pay attention to these 3 separate organs that are working together. And you start out just by paying attention, because most of us think, and then there's a feeling behind it, but it's really not that. It's like they're 2 completely different fields that have different functions and forms. So to get to know ourselves, and basically 2 things: we want to feel and breathe emotion, not think about it, right? You have a trigger. We reach for the breath and the movement of the body before we decide anything. And then understanding that intuition is always going to tell us that next most advantageous step for the good of the whole. Then your ego has to be willing and able to then do it. What intuition tells you. If it tells you to rest, you have to be willing to rest. So it's basic. You make sense, but it's really the work of our lives. It really is.
Exactly. And what people don't realize, we all have the gift of intuition. It's just that some choose to use it every day.
Mm-hmm. Makes for a very magic life filled with synchronicity. It's amazing. I'm really, really at a time in my life of doing this for 35 years or whatever.
Wow.
That my life has become really, really fluid and miraculous, not without conflict and not without pain, but I have way more mastery of what manifests for me.
Well, we are here in Earth School, so of course,
Exactly,
the conflicts,
Earth School.
We're going to deal with the conflicts. That's why we come here, to learn all this. The angels literally bow to us for coming here, like, oh, you brave souls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. All righty. So I just want to, I'm sure you'll be.
Yes,
one of your books, Einstein. And then you had Imagining Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
So are there any other books that you want to tell us about? Of course, we're going to be listing all of your sites below and your contact information.
Yes.
So,
what is the best place for folks to contact you, Barbara?
BarbaraWith.com is mine. I'm a little bit under construction at this very moment, but Also, synergyalliance.llc is where all the
Okay.
books are too. You can order directly from the publisher there without having to go through Amazon or any of that.
Mhm.
And then Barb With is my music site.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, that's been a real pleasure, and it's just so good to see you again, girl. I
You
can't
too,
believe
both of
I can't believe it's
you.
been that long.
I know, but you
Oh
know
my
what?
God.
For you guys and your listeners, if
Mm.
you want half off of a reading, just
Oh,
mention
Oh,
the
okay.
show, and I'm happy to do that.
Sign me up. We're always giving readings for everybody else, and we don't.
I
We
know. We
need
don't
to.
get
I
myself.
know.
We need to
So,
play with. Yeah.
so when you do your readings, anybody, it's open to anybody who's coming through. Is Einstein.
Yeah, it's a song. It's an improvisational song just for you
Oh,
that gets sung with, I'm sure, different ancestors, but the party is pretty strong. And Einstein's presence, I think, like a good leader, who really is interested in the good of the whole,
Yeah.
then the whole party becomes enlivened too. So I'm
exciting.
good with not knowing exactly, but yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you for just listening to your intuition all these years and touching the millions of people that you have around the world. Oh my gosh.
Aren't we lucky?
I'm so proud of you. It's like, oh my God, how far you've come.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
so
taking
much.
time out of your busy schedule to
Right.
here with us.
Always. Come,
And
let's do it again. There's
We
so
got to
much
do
to
it
talk
again.
about.
I
we'd
know.
we'd be so thrilled to have you back on again.
Yes, let's do that again.
Or,
Right.
wanting to. So
Mm.
folks, everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, listening. And I always say, get out of this. For our listeners, I'm pointing to my head. Get out of here and try
Right.
to hear your heart.
Right.
And for everyone, please subscribe. And to subscribe, you need to go onto your laptop or your computer. Go onto our website, which is Beacons of Balance, and hit watch videos. But all the videos will be there. And
Right.
count to anyone and subscribe. It does not cost you anything, but we're
Right.
doing this for everybody as we bring these wonderful guest speakers on to spread the word. We need it. We need it. We need the light out there.
Exactly.
Raise
And
it's so important. So this is
right.
for each and every one of you.
And leave comments. We love to read the comments and share. There's some good stuff out there.
Yes, please. And we're here every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. The first Wednesday of the month, I do a prayer healing meditation for the world, which is only runs like 15 minutes. So, and they're all archived, so you can come back. And Barbara, again, thank you, honey, so much.
Yes.
And we're going
Thank you.
to list all of Barbara's information down below. So you have to go onto the computer and see all that to link on and to find out about her work and her books. And she offered a wonderful thing, half price off of a reading. Oh my God.
Wow. Sign us up.
Thank you for that.
Yes. Thank you. That was very sweet.
It was
You
great.
bet.
Remember to be the beautiful beacons of light that you are and shine it out there. Oh, and one thing I always forget to ask. This is called Barbara Beacons of Balance. So what do you do for yourself to balance yourself?
I love nature.
Mhm.
I
They're
live
great.
on an island in Lake Superior.
Wow.
Wow.
And so I'm always enveloped in nature and water, and that's what brings me the balance.
Beautiful.
That's
So
important.
very important.
Very important.
All righty.
Thank you. Thank you, my
Bye, everybody. Love
Bye,
you.
Barb.
Love you.
Okay.